And I think that is where you get the eye candy with Tonali, because what you don't get with Bruno
You
is that
see,
recovery and
the comments are rolling in thick and fast now. Keep Dummett, keep Lascelles, keep. That's why Almiron lasted as long as he did.
yeah,
Yeah, completely different. For a start, none of them were in the same league as Bruno as a footballer. Forget about the commitment and everything else. Bruno was a footballer as sober. Miggy, I agree. Miggy was totally committed, and I loved Miggy. But his day had come as well, and that was plain for everyone to see. We hoped against hope when he had his purple patch that was the new Miggy and that was what we're going to see. But it quickly reverted to what he was, which was a damn good workhorse. A bit of, if you like, a bit of a Gordon now.
yeah, yeah.
Puts the work in. There's no doubt about the work rate, but the output, it's
Yeah,
sadly
it's missing, isn't it?
missing.
Yeah, I mean that has been the biggest thing for me. One coming here, the mighty panty dropper official wins bright red. He's had the bird round again. Thanks for the 199, dude. I mean, it's like I said, as fans, you do watch the game. Listen, there's always going to be bias in a black and white shirt. But when a player has had the time to be involved in the club, and we said sometimes, everybody's shouting for certain individuals to come to the club, and you expect them to fit straight into a system that is already up and running. It's sometimes a lot more problematic for the player. We've seen the problems with Elanga. The Langa's had fits and starts coming into the side. Um, hasn't really settled in the role that everybody expected him to. And obviously, we saw there was drama in the tunnel post the game yesterday against Kosovo, where Sweden lost 1-0. And I think his rant in the tunnel was something like, this effing system. Um, it has to change. Now, Elanga was dropped from the side. Now, you look at Thomas Dahl's mentality when it come to the Isak situation, where he was praising what Isak was doing, and accepting it, because he obviously, being the international coach, he wanted to keep Isak's mindset forward thinking and praising him to see if he was going to be the player that was. And it's obviously not happened. It's bit him firmly on the backside. And unfortunately, with the inclusion of a player who hadn't played at all, no competitive football, apart from a couple of appearances, very poor appearances, I must say, for Liverpool. You've got Elanga, who's had some poor appearances for Newcastle, gets dropped. Um, to me, it's a little bit of hypocrisy going on there, because if you're looking at performance rated levels before you make an appearance in an international shirt, then surely to God, Isak shouldn't start if that's the situation that John Thomas Dahl's going on, or whatever. I can never put his bloody name together.
John Dahl Thomas.
John Dahl, that's the one. And you look at it and you say, for me, it's the perfect thing about how managers and how coaches think these days. You've got a player on one side who's performing really poorly for his club, and you've got a player up top who is performing as poorly, if not worse, mentally not prepared, certainly not match sharp, and yet get to start. So I think Sweden, unfortunately, under the guide of their current coach, has fallen on the sword, big style. And obviously out
Well,
of the World Cup.
Geordie Dan's in the chat there saying, Elanga should have had an assist yesterday
Yeah.
if Isaac was any good.
Yeah. And that's what I said. You are Meals beast, but Elanga didn't also have a striker to get the ball into the start of the season. And mate, you're absolutely right. I don't look at assists overall and say that's why he's been poor. I'm not rating him on his, what he could have had, because we
Big
all know
chances created.
his chances that when Gordon was up top. Totally agree with you. but it's his overall performance for me. Just hasn't been at the races. Yeah, and we can only guide him on what he was doing at Forest. You know what I mean? So for me, when a player comes into a new squad, it does take a while for them to settle in, and we've seen that. You know, I looked at Malik Chow against Liverpool, looked like a rabbit in headlights, but since he's settled, looks absolutely worldy. He looks a great player for the type of money that we got him for.
I just shove this in a
Yeah,
second
yeah,
to
go for it.
win. Do you think Bruno would stay committed if Barcelona or Madrid came in, or doing Isaac and asked to leave? It's easy to stay committed when no big clubs come in for you. Well, by
Man
all
City.
accounts, Man City have been in for Bruno, and he told them to go fish. And massive statement. I think if either Barcelona or Madrid came for Bruno, as long as he could still see ambition within the club, I think he would stay.
Mm.
If the day comes when that ambition appears to have diminished, then he'd probably want to go, and I couldn't blame him. I
No,
wouldn't blame him. You
no,
know,
no, no.
uh, he could be permitted that. When we let Isaac go, except that by all accounts he was one of the players in the senior players, group, whatever they are, who approached Eddie after the cup final, a couple of games after the cup final, and said, "Look, Isaac's not shaking a leg."
Yeah,
So he'd probably be quite happy to see him go.
yeah. I mean, you're looking at players now coming in, and you're looking for commitment. Now, in today's market, there is never going to be players that commit themselves to any club at all until they get to an age. And I know that sounds really crazy, but you always see players committing themselves for a period of time when they're at the Wisser age range. We know Wisser's signed a 4-year contract. We were just looking before we came on live actually about wages, because there's lots of rumours on exactly how much the likes of Isaac's on, and I was a bit surprised, to be fair, at how much Wisser and uh, Ramsey. He's on at Newcastle, to be fair. And there's commitment to the cause. I agree with it. People, as we've seen in the past, people go for money, and people go to better clubs. Isaac went for both in his mindset. But is it true? He's, there are lots of rumours now saying that the Klopp syndrome, if you like, with Arne Slot, is starting to fade. And some of the football that you see from Liverpool isn't the football that you used to see under Klopp. So it'll be interesting to see what happens there, because there's far too many individuals in the Liverpool team that aren't getting the rewards from the so-called superstars in and around them. Toon Lad has put in, I don't see Bruno leaving for at least the next 2 seasons unless things go very downhill. And we don't qualify for Europe, and his children are Geordies, and he's very committed to the Newcastle United. I think that goes to say, in my opinion. And that is, I think that's where you fall the love for Bruno, is because he's wearing black and white literally on his heart now. And like I said, the love that's been shown to his dad. Where's the number 39? He's a very spiritual type of guy. And for me, it's like, with the way Bruno is, and I understand it, when your family is happy and you're happy at work, there's no reason to change. It's only going to change if the mindset of the exterior part of you changes, because you can't manage that. And we've all been in that situation where our family, partners or whatever, your wives, whatever, aren't happy in the current situation, whether it's because you're never at home, because if you're like Win, you're always in the pub, or you're like me. I've been through a couple of marriages because I was very much work ethic, and I was doing back then. I used to work 24 hours when it was legal.